Welcome, dreamers, and thank you for arriving with presence and purpose beneath this new moon in Gemini. This lunation opens a brand new 6-month arc in our collective story, and with it, we welcome two powerful guides to walk beside us. The Father, the embodiment of strength, structure, and sacred responsibility, and his fierce companion, the Wolf, the guardian of truth, protector of the path, and the one who remembers why we travel together. Cooperatively, they ask us to reimagine what it means to lead, to protect, and to show up with clarity, heart, and resilience. In this episode, we'll walk with the Father and his companion, the Wolf. We'll begin by meeting these archetypes not just as symbols, but as living energies, stepping forward to guide this 6-month cycle. You'll hear how the Father appears across culture and story, in shows, in politics, in power, sometimes in balance and sometimes in shadow. Then we'll move into ritual, calling in the Father within. We'll set intentions with care and anchor into deeper expressions of masculine wisdom. From there, we'll follow the Wolf into reflection, a guided journaling practice that helps you listen for instinct, remember your people, and lead with fierce compassion. We'll draw 3 cards in a tarot spread to clarify your personal relationship with the Father archetype, what's being healed, and what legacy is already taking root. And because the skies are full of tension this week, we've expanded both our lunar weather and dream streams segments to help you navigate this cosmic storm with insight, intuition, and inner steadiness. This is your new moon in Gemini. This is the Father and the Wolf. So, take a breath, light a candle if that feels right, and let's begin the cycle together. With clear eyes, open hearts, and a shared devotion to walk with strength, softness, and sovereignty. This is the archetype in bloom, the Father and the Wolf. As we step beneath this Gemini new moon, a new archetype rises to guide us through the next 6 months of transformation. We meet the Father, not just a parent, but the archetypal force of masculine stewardship, the one who builds, protects, and envisions legacy. In balance, the Father stands beside, not above. He is the wise voice, the calm in chaos, the one who shows up, not just for now, but for what comes next. He is strategic, patient, present, firm but fair, supportive yet sovereign. But the Father, too, is human. Unbalanced, he may withdraw. He may grow rigid, disappointed, or collapse under the weight of his own expectations. He forgets that strength includes softness, that leadership includes vulnerability. At his side walks the Wolf, our instinctual guide to this cycle. The Wolf guards the tribe. He holds the rituals. He speaks the truths that others won't. In balance, he is loyal, democratic, and fierce. He leads by example and never by fear. But unbalanced, the Wolf dominates. His certainty becomes control. His instinct becomes dogma. He forgets that real leaders don't silence others. They create space for others to rise. Together, the Father and the Wolf ask us, where do I show up fully? And where do I disappear? Do I lead with care or control? Do I protect or possess? This new moon in Gemini is a threshold. It's the moment between thought and truth. It asks us not just to speak, but to listen. Not just to guide, but to evolve. Let us walk with the Father. Let us listen for the howl of the Wolf, and let us begin. This is Encounters with the Archetype, the father in pop culture and politics. As we walk with the Father under this new moon in Gemini, let's explore where he's already shown up, not just within us, but around us. Because archetypes don't only live in myth, they live in sitcoms, in speeches, in the hands that hold or let go. Let's begin with two balanced expressions of the Father. First, Joel, played by Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us. A reluctant protector, grief-stricken, hardened by loss, and yet again and again he chooses to care, to connect, to risk. Joel teaches us that fatherhood isn't about fearlessness. It's about loving in a world that might break you. It's about staying even when it would be easier just to run. Then there's Phil Dunphy from Modern Family, a lovable, goofy dad who leads with presence, not power. He earns trust with humor, with emotional availability, and with heart. Phil reminds us that Father doesn't need armor. Sometimes he just needs to show up. Now, let's turn to the shadow. Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. Brilliant, strategic, and cold. His love is conditional. His children are pawns in his legacy. He is the father as a tyrant, commanding but never connecting. Maybe you remember Homelander from The Boys, a terrifying distortion of masculine power. He wants obedience but offers no safety. He craves worship but knows nothing of love. This is the father unmoored from truth. And then there are those who hold the archetype in real time. In 2024, politicians like J.D. Vance and Tim Walz embodied the father in different ways. Vance leaned into legacy, tradition, control, while Walz embraced collaboration, humor, and empathy. Two sides of the same coin, each responding to a collective longing for leadership with heart. Across the sea, we saw the rise of the centrist dad. Measured, calm, rational. He doesn't perform. He doesn't shout. He tries to soothe a public grown weary of chaos. He's not perfect, but he is stable. Whether on screen or in the office, the father is here. Balanced and broken, steady or distant, and he leaves us with one question. What kind of leader are you becoming? Do you uplift or control? Do you disappear when it matters most? This new moon reminds us the father isn't just a role. He is a function, a force within each of us. Let's choose to embody him with care. Let's lead with connection. And let's become the fathers our futures can depend on. And with that, I'd like to welcome you into ritual. This is Reclaiming the Father Within. It is a fresh start under the new moon in Gemini. This ritual is a return, a reconnection to the father archetype within, not as an idea, but as a presence already alive within you. If you'd like to complete this with me, you're going to need a candle, white, gold, or earth-toned, a stone, coin, or key, just something that's grounding, a pen and paper, and a quiet place to be with yourself. Go ahead and pause the audio. I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. And we begin. Dim the lights. Light your candle. Let the flame remind you. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it glows. Take 3 deep, grounding breaths. Feel your spine align. Feel the earth beneath you. Then say aloud or in silence, I welcome the Father within. I honor his wisdom, his structure, and his steady love. I invite him back into my life, not as dominance, but as devotion. First, we are going to release what distorts masculine energy. On your paper, write down a belief or a memory that has blocked your connection to healthy masculinity or authority. This may be something like, I was never protected, so I must protect myself at all costs. Power always leads to harm. Masculinity is cold, distant, or unsafe. Hold your grounding object in your hand. Read your sentence out loud. And then say, this story no longer defines me. I release it with compassion. Fold or tear the paper. Place it beneath the stone. You've just set this down so you can pick something else up. When you're ready, we are going to reclaim your inner father. Now, speak a new truth. Choose one of the following or write your own. I lead with presence, patience, and quiet strength. I am a steady force in my own life and in the lives of those I love. The Father within me builds what is worthy of trust. Let this move through your breath, through your posture, through your heartbeat. Place your hand on your heart and whisper, I choose to build something sacred, one moment, one breath, one truth at a time. Now we're ready to seal the ritual. Blow out your candle slowly. Let your breath be the closing bell. Keep your stone somewhere sacred, your altar, your desk, your nightstand, as a reminder. You don't have to prove your strength. You only have to practice it. And if it calls to you, write a letter to your inner father this week. Let him speak back. Ask what he needs. Ask what he's proud of. And listen. In closing, this ritual isn't about perfection. It's about presence. Each time you choose to show up calmly, responsibly, with love, you are becoming the father this world aches for. Not as a rescuer, not a ruler, but a root, a source of safety, of direction, of sacred dependability. You are not recreating the past, you're rewriting the pattern, and you're doing it beautifully. Our journaling segment this episode is called Listening to the Wolf. Now that we've welcomed the Father and felt the rhythm of his presence within, we turn to his companion, the wolf. The wolf carries instinct and insight. He walks the edge between civilization and wildness. He doesn't ask for permission. He listens, he learns, and then he leads. This segment is your space to reflect, to let the archetypes speak, not just through symbol, but through your own voice. Grab your journal if it's nearby, or let these prompts linger in your daydreams, your morning walks, and your quiet moments. Prompt 1. Who is my pack, and how do I show up for them? The wolf belongs to a system. He protects, guides, and nurtures, not for comfort, but for purpose. Ask yourself, who are the people I instinctively feel responsible for? Where am I giving from love? And where is it coming from a place of duty or survival? Let these questions show you your unspoken contracts and which ones may be ready to evolve. Prompt 2. What truths am I no longer willing to suppress? The howl of the wolf is sacred. It breaks silence with meaning. It's not about volume, it's about resonance. Ask, what have I been holding back because it might hurt or disrupt or disappoint? What part of me is howling to be heard? Let the answers rise. You don't need to explain them, you only need to honor them. Prompt 3. Where am I leading with control instead of trust? Even noble protectors can become possessive when fear takes the wheel. Ask, where am I clinging too tightly to my way? Where could I soften and trust others to rise in their own time? Leadership doesn't mean carrying it all. It means carrying what's yours. Allow yourself to write plainly and with honesty. These aren't assignments. These are invitations. The wolf doesn't walk alone, and neither do you. The wolf walks beside the father for a reason, to unite instinct with integrity, to remind us that protection and connection must move together. Ask yourself, how will I lead? Who will I protect? And what kind of world am I willing to build? You don't need every answer, just the courage to ask the right ones. And when you're ready, we'll meet the Father once more, this time in the cards. This week's tarot segment is titled Encounters with the Archetype, the Father. Now that we've walked with the wolf, let's return to the Father, this time through the language of the cards. The Father lives in symbols, but also in our actions, our steadiness, our quiet daily choices. This spread is a reflection of where the Father lives within you now and what legacy He's preparing you to accept. If you're shuffling your deck, take a moment now. If you're simply listening, trust that what comes through is meant for you also. Question 1. Where does the Father archetype live within me right now? The cards pulled were 10 of Swords reversed, 7 of Cups, and Strength reversed. The 10 of Swords reversed opens the reading, marking the end of a painful chapter, a final breath before release. The Father says, you've carried enough. Choose peace. Choose rest. Choose your next story. Then comes the 7 of Cups, a mirror of emotional overwhelm and infinite choices. The Father here is not pressuring you to decide. He's sitting beside you in the fog, trusting that your inner compass knows the way. And last is Strength reversed. This is a reminder that true power is never loud. This is the Father who leads with stillness, who teaches that grace is mightier than force. You don't have to be loud to be clear. You don't have to push to lead. Question 2. What past wound related to authority or masculinity am I being asked to heal? The card pulled is Justice reversed, and this cuts deep. This is the wound of protection denied, fairness withheld, voices unheard. You may have turned your back on masculine energy altogether because it felt harmful or hollow. But this card invites you to rebuild, not as they were, but as they could be. You are not here to mirror the injustice. You are here to model the repair. Question 3. What legacy am I creating through my current actions? The card pulled was the 10 of Pentacles. This card is incredible. The Father here builds something lasting, not for applause, but for lineage, not for ego, but for community. The legacy you're shaping now will echo into futures that you cannot yet see. Through your presence, through your boundaries, through your deep and steady love. So take this with you. Choose peace when you're tempted to push. That's 10 of Swords reversed. Trust your compass, even in confusion. 7 of Cups. Let softness lead where strength feels out of reach. Strength reversed. Reclaim fairness and don't abandon your own authority. Justice reversed. And remember, you are already building something sacred. 10 of Pentacles. You don't have to be perfect. You only need to be present. And you are right now. When you're ready, we'll turn to the skies. The lunar weather is calling, and it's time to see how the stars are holding this moment with us. Our extended lunar weather segment this week is titled A Pause Between Selves, Rewriting the Story. This new moon in Gemini arrives like a breath caught in the chest, the kind of pause that comes before the truth is spoken, before a choice is made, before something new is named. This is not a cycle to rush. It's a cycle to listen carefully to your own thoughts, to your own voice, to the version of you that's beginning to emerge. The Sun, Moon, and Mercury are all conjunct in Gemini, a triple alignment of identity, emotion, and expression. This is not just a new beginning, it's recalibration. Ask yourself, does what I say match what I believe? Am I thinking my own thoughts or repeating an outdated narrative? This new moon helps us to clear the slate, not with force, but with curiosity. And yet, this chart is anything but light. This new moon arrives, grounding us into the last degree of the Taurus sun. It urges us to stretch as it ascends over the horizon in Sagittarius. This Gemini moon is given roots and wings. The Taurus sun says, real change happens gradually, one step at a time, truth by truth. The Sagittarius rising asks, what beliefs are guiding your voice? Is your message rooted in reality or just familiarity? Now, here's where it gets complex. This lunation chart is under tension, a karmic crossroads unfolding above and within. Pluto in Aquarius trines the Sun, Moon, and Mercury, offering clarity from the shadows. This is not just insight, it's a quiet demand to release what's outdated. But the ascendant, the way we move through the world, is under pressure. Jupiter opposes it, Saturn squares it, Neptune clouds it, and the nodes of fate form a crossroads square. This means we're turning, but we can't see where we're going yet. And Jupiter asks, are you expanding too fast without foundation? And Saturn whispers, build slowly, build what lasts. Neptune asks, is this real? Or are you chasing a longing dressed as truth? And the nodes ask, which version of yourself are you bringing forward? So don't rush, don't force. Let this new moon be what it is, a breath before the song, a rewrite before the message is sent, a chance to hear yourself clearly before the world responds. Coming up, we'll take these insights deeper in the extended lunar weather. We'll look at how this week's transits shape your dreams, your rituals, and your sense of self in motion. Our extended lunar weather segment this week is titled The Storm Beneath the Stillness. This week's skies carry the weight of many voices, some loud, some subtle, some calling us forward and others pulling us inward. We begin with a powerful triple conjunction in Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Mercury, heart, body, and voice, all aligned in a single moment. This is the Gemini archetype, amplified. Questions, conversations, contradictions. It's like having 100 tabs open in your soul. But clarity isn't found in noise. It's found in listening through the noise. This alignment is blessed by Pluto in Aquarius, casting a deep trine from the shadows. And he whispers, the truth is already within you. You don't need to find it. You just need to stop running from it. This is a gift of mental transformation, insight through dreams, through slips of the tongue, through sudden clarity in the places you least expect it. But clarity doesn't come without pressure. The sky is shifting, and with it, our sense of identity. Saturn and Neptune have both recently moved into Aries, marking a profound energetic shift. The work is no longer about emotional release. It's about embodied accountability. No more waiting for signs. It's time to become the sign. Saturn in Aries says you are responsible for who you're becoming. Neptune in Aries asks, what illusions of yourself are you still carrying? And in the background, we're still navigating a grand mutable cross. Jupiter in Gemini expands options, but scatters focus. The nodes square the rising, testing alignment with destiny. Together, these aspects create a push-pull energy that might feel like doubting what once felt certain, craving change but unsure of how to begin, feeling inspired and exhausted at the same time. This is not a week for answers. It's a week for choosing the questions worth living into. Later in the week, Mars in Leo squares the nodes, a cosmic push to act, to move, to make your presence known. But be mindful of the urge to perform. Ask, am I acting from alignment or from anxiety? Am I choosing visibility or authenticity? Mars wants the spotlight. Saturn wants the truth. Be seen, yes, but make sure what's seen is real. And then we arrive at the heart of this storm. Venus in Aries now sits with Chiron and Eris, a holy trinity of wound, rage, and reclamation. This is not quiet healing. This is the burn that tells you something vital has been denied. Chiron reveals the pain. Eris brings the fire. Venus says, this matters, and you matter too. If you feel a rise in your chest this week, a truth that's been silenced, a no that's been waiting, let it speak, not to burn it all down, but to end the silence that's been costing you too much. This is not about being right. It's about being real. Let your love be brave. Let your voice be sovereign. Let your fire be heard. So what does this week ask of you? Move gently. The mind is fast, but the soul is slow. Speak with intention. Your words are planting seeds. Don't mistake uncertainty for failure. You are gathering truth like breadcrumbs. Let your dreams shape your edits, and your edits shape your next expression. This is the moment between identities, the pause between selves, the breath before becoming. Let it be intentional. Let the dream space hold what your waking mind can't yet name. Let the images echo. Let the messages unfold in time. When you're ready to return, not to who you were, but to who you are becoming, we'll meet you here at the edge of a new beginning. And now we close with the beginning rooted in strength. Dreamers, you planted something powerful tonight. You welcomed a new archetype, not just into your mind, but into your body, into your story, into the spiral path your soul is unfolding. The Father has entered this cycle with you, not as a distant idea, but as a living presence within. The part of you that protects what matters, leads with integrity, and holds the long vision for what may yet become. And beside him walks the wolf, the fierce guardian, the loyal witness, the one who teaches us that loyalty is sacred but never blind. Together they walk with you now, through choices, changes, and the quiet moments when you must decide, will I lead with fear or with trust? This is a promising beginning, but beginnings are tender. So move gently, but with purpose. Hold your visions close, but not so tightly that they can't evolve. Let your strength come not from force, but from a quiet power of knowing who you are becoming. This moon asked you to choose, to show up differently, to lead from devotion and not domination, to understand that protecting something sometimes means changing everything. Thank you for being here, for listening, for feeling, for beginning again. The cycle turns, the work begins, and you are building something sacred. If this episode spoke to something inside of you, a memory, a truth, a vision of who you're becoming, carry that with you. And if you'd like to walk this path together through the moon phases, the dream world, and the language of archetypes, follow Spirit in Translation on YouTube. Share this episode with someone walking the edge of change, someone who's ready to lead from the heart and not fear. And as always, thank you for showing up, for listening deeply, and for choosing to become something sacred. I'll meet you back here under the next moon. Until then, sweet dreams.